Fast forward from there about 3 years, and I had had my second son and was still doing really good. And after he had started sleeping through the night, I asked my doctor if I could get off the medication and see if I could manage this on my own. And so I did, and I was able to manage it on my own. Fast forward from there another 3 years, and I was pregnant with my daughter. And the fears of postpartum depression again came to me. I had some depression episodes during pregnancy, and so I was really getting nervous about how I would respond after having her. After giving birth to her, I was so happy, and I was so relieved that I was truly managing this by myself, and that I was able to go through another delivery process and not be on medication and still be happy. And it was great. When she hit 4 months old, she started to have, she was a crummy sleeper, and it started to drive me crazy. And I joke and I tease about that to make me feel a little bit better, but I was literally going kind of crazy, and I began just yelling at my other kids and being very angry and being very down on myself. And I was in a very dark place. And that really trying to keep it real. So one night I sat down with my husband and I was terrified. And I told him about how I'd been feeling and encountered for him my darkest moment and how far it was getting for me. And he, being a loving and awesome, supportive husband, said that is definitely not a good place to be where I was, and said that if I needed to go back in and to go get help again, that I should do that. And so this time it was a lot harder for me because I just realized that it was something that was me, that I had truly lost a part of me that knew how to instinctively be happy. So I went in to my doctor and got me back on some medication and started me kind of back off where I had been years before and started doing that. And then I all of a sudden just got to a point where things would become very overwhelming to me. Things that really shouldn't be overwhelming. And I logically knew that these things shouldn't be overwhelming. I remember very distinctly there was one moment where I needed to get a paper to someone in my church, and I had stopped to talk to somebody for a few minutes, and this other person had to come and find me to get the paper. And that was it. And I spent my whole church time thinking of how bad I had failed at my job and my role in my church, and it spiraled down into very negative thoughts on myself. And I went home and I shut myself in my closet and just sobbed. And I knew that not getting a paper to someone on time, 5 minutes late, should not be evoking this. And So I went to my doctor again for a follow-up appointment and asked how depression and anxiety are linked, and told him about that experience and some others, and said, is this a depression link? And he said, no, that is very much anxiety. They are often found together, and it just sounds like the anxiety side is heightening. Sometimes you can get very depressed and the anxiety's down here, and then sometimes they switch, and then sometimes you just have both. But they are tied together no matter which one. And so at that point, the anxiety was starting to take over. I had obviously had experience in depression and had taken time to identify with the experiences and be able to tie them together and say, okay, is this just a regular person having a bad day experience, or is this a depression experience? And I could really tell from my personality and the situations around me, and could pinpoint what was normal behavior and what wasn't. And this entry of the anxiety it very much threw me off. And so it just was a whole nother thing for me to figure out about myself. The reason I tell this story is because I still struggle with the depression and anxiety. That is still a part of who I am. It is sometimes a very difficult part for me to admit that it is part of who I am, but it also plays a big role in how I am as a parent. It's hard enough sometimes when you can barely take care of yourself, sometimes, much less have to look after little people that depend on you every day for what we moms or parents know is quite a lot. And if you are struggling to take care of yourself, it can be a very big struggle to take care of those littles. And I was learning that in order for me to be the kind of mom that I want to be, it is crucial for me to take care of myself in different ways. And so figuring out this new balance of having depression and anxiety in my life and intertwining that with motherhood has been quite a experience. These feelings are something that really prompted and inspired me in making this channel, because I want other moms to know that if you are having feelings of depression and anxiety, whether it be postpartum or whether it be from general reasons, that you are not by yourself, and that I understand that it takes a big toll in how you are as a mom. But if you're able to recognize those signs in yourself, to focus on figuring it out, and in doing so, it can help your kids in the long run. And ultimately, that's what we all want.